What's up, everybody? I'm Brian from I1Tesla, and you know, a lot of people like displays in front of the steering wheel, and I've gone over a lot of them on this channel. I've gone over from the large display from Hansshow all the way to the small, minimal, very small display that really just shows you what you really need, the speed that you're going. Some people like a little bit more information. Some people like a little larger display that shows their speed but gives them some more feedback, but doesn't block the vents, but also is upgradable, colors screen, and moves up and down with the steering wheel. Kind of sounds like a niche group, but I think this is for a lot of people. This is a new screen from Hansshow. It attaches to the steering column so it doesn't block the vents, and it's a nice display that's going to give you a lot of information. This is the smart LCD dashboard. I'm reading it from the back of this thing here. They make it for the Intel or the AMD chips, but this is a Linux system with a 4.6-inch display. So this is a small display here. Almost looks like a phone that is stuck on here. It's screwed in place. So we can move that anywhere we want to. We can take this off because there's just screws there, and this cable. This is just a plastic shield. So let me know in the comments down below, do you like this screen or this screen? And if you haven't seen this video, click the link up there and it'll take you right to that. That one's actually kind of a funny video. It's really up to you if you like to see more information versus just your speed or your, you know, because the turn signals work on that thing as well. Either way, I don't think you can go wrong. This isn't going to block that much of the vent either, because it's sitting up here. It's only this high. I can see where the vent comes out. If I was to have it come straight at me, it's not going to hit this. It's going to still hit my face and cool me off. You can always go up higher with it as well. This is just going to block a 3.5-inch section of it, but I think the air will still flow around. You can always move this over too to get this right in your face. You know, there's so many different options as far as screens to have in the car, so you don't have to just use this. I think this is a great option for a lot of people. Pretty easy to install, not intrusive at all into the car. It kind of fits a little bit, kind of looks like a phone sitting right there. But there's also a discount code. Use my code, save some money, save yourself some money, I1Tesla. And basically anything on Hansshow, you can use code I1Tesla and save a ton of money. I think Hansshow has it in the perfect spot because, you know, some displays that mount to the dash, you have to move the wheel so you can see the screen. This is going to be onto the steering wheel, a lot closer to the steering wheel. So pretty much anywhere you put the wheel that's comfortable to you, the screen's going to be visible. It comes in a really nice box from Hansshow, opens up, and really all it is one cable. Well, for mine, it's one cable because I don't have the AMD chip. So this plugs into the autopilot computer like we've done before in the past. And then this plugs into the display. This we're not using, but this goes to the display, this goes to the computer, and it's about that easy. It really isn't very difficult to install this. There's some disassembly. You need to take apart the dash and you need to take apart the steering column, but we've done that before with this channel because there's been a display. I had a display like this similar that would flip around, that would charge your phone, but a lot of people don't like to have their phone up there on the dash in the sun. They'd rather have something like this. So I actually am in the process of installing other parts in this car, but this display showed up and I thought you might like this a little bit better. So what you're gonna wanna do is get into the autopilot computer, which is right back here. I've already taken this panel off. That's what you'll pull off. You'll pull this tab and then you'll be able to, once you pull everything down, you'll be able to get back into the autopilot computer. Now, I already have some things attached to my autopilot computer, so I'm able to just pigtail into here. But that's what you're going to be doing. You're just pigtailing into the autopilot computer the silver cable that's up there, I'm pointing to it because it's way up there. It's hard to see. You do have to flip upside down to really get to it. But if you already have something already attached to this and you want to try this display out, you just really need to attach to these. Because all that cable is doing is just jumping the signal. It's not doing anything to the autopilot computer. It's just taking some of the data and displaying it onto the screen. So it's not changing anything on the display, or it's not changing anything in your autopilot computer. It's just reading some data. So it's not affecting anything. It's just allowing others to use the data. In this case, this screen. And then once you get the cable here, we're going to, well, this one's already popped off, but we're going to pop this off along with the other side and lift up on the dash. We're going to pull this whole dash off and then run the cable up over to that area, and then we're going to rip off that steering, well, not going to rip off the steering wheel column. We're going to take apart the steering column, install this one in its place. So this is the second setup for the screen. There's two different ones. Well, actually, this is the first one. I had the second one going. It shows the battery percentage correctly on this one, but it didn't do it on the other. I think this version is a little busy with all the tire pressures over here. I'm not a fan of that, and showing the follow distance. So what you do to get out, to go to a different menu, is you hold over on the right scroll wheel for a little bit, and then it pops up the menu system. So then you can change dark mode and light mode. I like the dark mode, and then you go through the different settings. So I'm gonna go back to version 2. Once you get up to the return, you just push on it and it goes back to this. I think this is a cleaner setup, but here's the problem. For some reason, it's showing 100% battery when the other one was showing the correct 91%, because that shows the battery percentage when you stop. So that's a little weird to me. Everything else is correct, kind of. This shows the range is 232 miles. The car actually says 233. 91%, 91%, 100%. So there's some bugs in this. They are working on this. I already talked to Hansshow and told them the bugs, and they're already working on a fix. So by the time if you order this, by the time you get yours, it'll already have the bug fix in there, and it'll work just fine. The cool thing is this is upgradable. There is a USB-C port on the side, and you can get updates for this. There will be some updates in the future. I was actually talking to Hansshow about having something pop up on the sides to let you know when there's something in your blind spot. You know how you have the car here and there's something in the blind spot, you have the half moon or something like that? It'd be great to show, like, have something light up on this side that there's someone over there, or on this side. You know, the turn signals work just fine, but it would be great to have something there to let you know when you're not using turn signals that someone's there. So this thing is not perfect. It's very new. They're working on some fixes for it, and you'll get those updates. You just put a USB-C hard drive there, and you can update the system. It should do it automatically like the other ones. You just plug it in there. Again, don't mind all the panels already missing from here. So again, you'll remove this piece. You don't have to remove this one, but you'll remove this piece, and then you'll pry up on this, and then you'll be able to lift up on the dash. If you have the tilting screen, straighten that, and then lift straight up. And the dash piece comes right out. It's that easy. So in here, I still have the little display. We're gonna leave that inside here. Once we put the dash back in, we'll be able to see the difference. Do we like this better, or do we like this better? Because I liked the big screen here, but I also need a little bit, I think I like a little bit more features than just the speed on this. But that's up to the individual. So the next step here is to pull these pins, and we're just gonna pry up on these. I'm gonna remove the clips, and then on either side here, or pull this back, lift up from the back, and that's going to release everything. Oops. And this is removed. You see the clips here and here on both sides. This piece comes off because we're gonna put this on the new one. It goes on just like the factory one. Hook it around, and now that part's installed. I'm gonna run this cable across, plug the screen in, and I'm gonna get all this set, and then we're gonna move to the autopilot computer. What you wanna do is grab the cord so it's coming straight out the back. I'm gonna tuck it behind, pretty far back, you see there? And then I'm gonna bring it over, lining it up close to the clips. If you really wanted to, you can remove the steering wheel, and that's probably not a bad idea, but I think we can get this without removing it. I've got these lined up on this side. As I'm pulling forward, I want to push down, and I see it clips right in. It drops right into place. There we go. There we go. Those clips are fighting me a little bit, but you know what? A little bit of power, and we're gonna get this into place. I need to be where you're at so I can really squeeze in here. So, excuse me, but I need to get this. All right, what I did was I came right where you were, put my hand here and put my hand here, and just squeezed together on both sides, popped it right into place. It was almost like going to the chiropractor. A little pop, a little twist, and man, it feels so good. That's so stupid. Before we run the cable, before we get too far, I'm gonna feed the cable out the side, not the back, because this plastic piece is going to affect that. So I'm gonna run it out the side, and I'm gonna tape this around because there's a clip here I don't wanna have affected. Tape this down so it doesn't make noise, put the dash back on, keep this in place, and then get over to the autopilot computer. I'm ready to put the dash back in. Dash goes in the same way, angles in and drops down. Make sure everything's lined up. Set it in place. You want to go to safety, scroll to the bottom, and power off the vehicle. But once you do that, don't sit in a seat as you're doing that because it'll turn the car back on. What that's doing is turning off this stuff. And then you have about, I think, 3 minutes or 2 minutes to be able to do this. You should be able to do it in time. You'll climb underneath and try to hook those up. If you don't do it in that time frame, the car will kind of go into a safe mode, but all you have to do is just lock the car up and we'll plug everything in, lock the car up and let it sit for about an hour, kind of resets, it goes to deep sleep, and then once it turns back on, you should be fine. Alright, now we got that cool animation. And if you're wondering, yeah, I have a lot of my car taken apart. I'm always doing something. Again, use my code I1Tesla, save some money, hit up Hansshow, and as always, stay awesome, stay positive. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.